So, welcome everybody. This is the month of November, and we have this great opportunity to talk about men's health. It's listed as Movember, but so we wanted to kind of do a couple series just on talking about men's health where we could push men to or encourage to get checked out. And I am here with some great guys today. So, once again, I'm Charles Anderson. I'm the principal here at Michelle Clark, and I'm going to let everybody go around and introduce themselves as well.
I'm Seth Scher, PE/health teacher here at Michelle Clark.
Mr. Morris, I'm a freshman counselor here at Michelle Clark.
And I'm Sean Hennigan, PE/health teacher at Michelle Clark.
And so when we talk about men's health, what's the first thing that come to you guys' mind? Like the first thing when you say men's health?
Testosterone and beards.
And beards. Okay.
So I'm healthy. I'm good. We good with the beard.
Going to the gym, eating healthy,
Okay.
resting, not just sleeping, but full body resting.
That's funny because when it come to my mind, the first thing I think of is nobody wants to be healthy. Nobody wants to eat right. Men don't want to go to the doctor. We don't want to do all of those things. That's the first thing to jump in my head.
Same with like the mental health.
Yeah.
That's like always the stigma with men. We can't have feelings, that kind of stuff. So I feel like it's shifting more now to where when we talk about men's health, I feel like that's something that's really a focus now at this point is men's mental health.
But when you think about even just the physical health and mental health, why do you think that's such a hard thing for men?
I think there's standards to live up to, right? I mean, I feel like as a man, you're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to be athletic. You're supposed to be all that. And then if you're not, you feel like you're not living up to what it is to be a man, like that kind of thing.
Anybody else thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think, personally, I think like when I was growing up, therapy was a thing that, wasn't really taken serious. And now that we're in this new day and age, mental health is like a priority, not just for men, but overall. But as far as what Mr. Hennigan said, I kind of agree. Like, depending on how you grew up, who you grew up with, who raised you, men, we're supposed to be just strong, and what comes with being strong, meaning like, internally, like if you're going through something, you can handle it on your own versus, have an open dialogue or a conversation with, anyone. So I just think, depending on who you grew up with, how you grew up, those things were kind of taught to you.
Do you think that's true for why most men don't go to doctors? Or is it that we really are afraid of what we might get or hear?
I think it's a combination, and the reason that is because, once again, depending on how you grew up, going to the doctor wasn't a thing. I don't know if it was based off of like family not having insurance or, not having access to proper care or whatnot. I think that plays a big role.
So you guys as like PE teachers, what can we be saying to like students now to make them or to break that mold of saying we don't go to the doctor, we don't get checked out? Because a lot of times when men find out they have some type of disease or have some type of illness is because now they're at the last of the rope, Whenever I hear people talk about like cancer and they're like they're stage 4, I'm like, what happened to 1 and 2? Like how do we get past that? And some of it maybe is because we didn't get checked out. And so how is that maybe played out and maybe even in your classrooms?
I feel like I have a built-in thing. Like I'm a cancer survivor. So when I was 20, I was diagnosed stage 4.
Wait, did you know about the 1 and the 2? Since I
missed the 1, 2, and 3, missed all of that, went right to 4. But I feel like it's built in now. Like as a cancer survivor, as somebody who's had a kidney transplant, I feel like it's such an easy transition now to tell kids like make sure you stay on top of things, make sure you stay doing what you're supposed to do health-wise, and like and then if they do hear something, I also like the aspect of like if you do hear like somebody in here has heard like a family member has cancer, something like that, like I like being an example to where it's like you look at me and it's not a death sentence. You know what I mean? Like I had it 22 years ago at this point is when I was diagnosed. Thanks. So at this point, it's letting kids know like you could live a long, normal, healthy life with all that. Like we had a student here who had a kidney transplant, and right away, just instantly like connected with her and was telling her, you know.
Yeah. Do you find that? Because sometimes people say like because we let it go so long, like were you getting checked up or did you just like something happened? You like something's not right with me right now.
Something was definitely not right.
Yeah.
And I knew something wasn't right, and was like I went to a couple doctors and trying to get looked at, and like brought it to them right away and said I think I have cancer even when I went to the doctor, and they're like, we don't think you do, it's this. They treated me for a bunch of other stuff, but like I was 20, so at 20 you're invisible, you don't even think about it, you just like it's nothing, but then it got too bad to ignore, and then it was like, all right, we gotta go to the hospital and figure this all out. And then when I went, like the day I went to the hospital for the first time, and it was my mom who took me, she's like, we gotta go to the hospital. Like my eyes were red like Coke cans, I didn't sleep for a couple days, and she's like, we gotta go to the hospital. Went to the hospital and they ran some tests and they're like, your organs are shutting down, you have less than 24 hours to live. So then it got a little bit more serious, but figured it all out.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure your story's not gonna be
mine-
Right, yeah.
That's
Who else
great.
wants anything to say now?
Yeah, quite the contrary for me. I feel I've been pretty healthy most of my life, and I credit that a lot. I have 3 older siblings, and our family is kind of a quote healthy family. So fortunate enough, growing up in that environment, it just naturally, I mean, it makes things easy, and it's just like we go to school, we practice sports, we eat healthy food, we go to sleep, and we repeat, and that's just what we do. So I never had like any major health scares or anything too crazy. Something that I try to continue with myself, especially like from the physical side of it being PE, is rather than thinking of like rehab, thinking of prehab. So all the things, because I was in physical therapy for a little while, physical therapy school. I've never actually had to do it, but so rather than like waiting to do all these rehab exercises after I get injured, what if I applied some of them now to help me prevent myself from being injured? Because seeing people go through the whole injury process is just, I mean, it's more the mental, emotional thing of like, you know, all of a sudden it's like, man, just to get out of bed, go to the shower, and go downstairs is now like such a process. But before, when you were feeling good, like it wasn't a major thing. So just trying to be on the front end rather than the back end, so the prehab rather than the rehab, and then apply that more so than just my physical body, but like my mental and emotional health as well. So like if I am feeling overwhelmed, like I do need to take a moment for myself or talk to someone, or like 7th period, usually I need to go outside, I need to get outside, and I need to just sit there and not have any noise after being in the gym for most of the day, and just like collect myself and come back to it, versus if I don't necessarily get that and I just kind of keep it rolling and it stays loud, and then I got 8th period, I'm not as they're an excited group, so like if I'm not calm going in there, then that can escalate quicker than I'd like. So just trying to stay on top of things really before they become an issue is how I try to go about it.
You know, as I'm sitting here, this is for all athletes, but since we're talking about men's health, I'm kind of gearing into it. But of course, it's for everybody. But I've seen athletes, and so I know you guys all played some type of sport, but I've seen athletes who are hurting, but because they feel like they can't let the team down or let the coach down or something, they will play through that hurt. I remember we had one student whose, I think his ankle or something was broke, but he didn't tell anybody because he felt like he had to play. And so by the time it was over, everybody was like, wait. And he was like, yeah, it was broke when I started, but I needed to be out there. I couldn't let y'all down. Yeah. Do you think that's some of the pressure that like men face? Like, I can't let, my wife down or my kids down, or so even though my ankle might be broke, I got to keep playing this game or something like that?
Yeah, I think as young boys we taught to be strong. You know, even when we got injuries, you know, we don't want to, you know, let those around us down. But you know, in reality, we really letting everybody down who we playing hurt or whatnot. But it's never taught or really, you know, give it to them in a positive light. Like, oh, prime example, when I was in high school, my senior year, I hurt my neck, right? But I didn't tell nobody. Only time I told somebody was when I went home and I couldn't sleep on pillows. And my mom was like, why is you looking like you got a crook? And I was like, no, it's probably how I slept. So I'm sitting here telling the lie because I wanted to play in all my football games. And at the same time, I didn't want to not be a part of the team.
And as I recall, your high school team was not that good.
Well, my senior year, we made it to state for the first time in 30 years. So that was a big reason why I didn't tell nobody.
You probably didn't play. You said
right. He
you
probably
hurt
was sitting
neck.
there.
No, I
twisted
played.
to the right, trying to
I
figure
played.
out.
Go on Max Prep 2007.
Anyway.
We was the
Right.
Anyway.
Illini Harlan,
He was looking
Manly
to the
High
left
School.
while the game was on the right because he couldn't twist his neck. No, go ahead with this fantasy talk.
But no, to speak to your point, I just think like, you know, growing up, we just taught not to like really speak on all that injury type of stuff unless it's really something obvious. Like you got a broken leg, of course you can't play. But if it's something like internal that you can hide, that you can mend with hot water and cold ice, get out there and try it again. Stretch, tape up.
tie your shoe tighter.
Yeah,
That's
tie it
what I've always
tighter.
heard.
And,
Like tie your shoe real tight and then don't take it off until.
the swelling will blow up.
Yeah.
And then after the game is over or whatnot, it's just like, you know, we just don't want to let people down. And like I think that carries over into like, you know, your young adulthood where you're not playing sports no more. And you know, if you're sick, you still got to go to work because you want to be able to provide. So it's just a whole big mental thing where, you know, I think now today, like it's starting to be kind of like cursed a little bit. Like it's not even happening no more because you do have players that be like, oh man, I'm hurting. And then we can't see it like physically, but like they letting us know. And like we like, no, just play sometime, you know. And
But now professional athletes probably are playing through the pain because the money.
The money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think too is just athlete mentality.
Yeah.
Like as you're growing up, you're told like the question that a coach will always ask you when you say like, oh, I hurt my leg or I hurt my, they'll be like, can you go? And you don't want to be like, no, I can't. I don't want to, you know, you don't want to be like, no, I can't because
You'd be like, yeah, I can go, coach. I can go. Still
Instantly.
put me in.
Instantly. My last football game in high school, I broke my leg.
Oh, here we go, another high school
it,
one.
it was the state championship. And
It was the state championship, and y'all were winning first time downstate.
football
I
team.
had this, but I broke my leg and like had a pretty good feeling it was broke. And when I came off, had them tape it first to try to get back out and play. And it was like they taped it up. I put my shoe back on, and the minute I took a step, it just like folded under me. I was like, yeah, I can't. But like, you know, it was just a situation.
But if you could have, you would have went out there.
100%. Yeah.
No matter how bad you could have been messing up your leg.
Doesn't matter. And I feel like it's just something that we were like kind of just as athletes, as coaches, we all like kind of just pound into your kids. Like you just always are telling them like, you know, if you're good, you go. If you can play, you play. And it's just.
And if you ever ask a kid if you're good and you guys are playing and you might be winning or they want to get in to make sure you win, how many kids are going to be like, Coach, I'm not good?
Yeah, they're all gonna play.
I mean, that like one kid wouldn't say, Coach, I'm not good.
Right.
Now some kids may say they're not good. Probably either they scared.
Right.
Oh, see, but that's why they wouldn't say it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's why they wouldn't say it.
Yeah, I just think it's a mentality. Like as a sport, you never want to let your team down, and then especially if you lose, it's like, dang, I could have done this. I could have, should have, would have. And you know, to be honest, we live with that for a little bit. Like I wish I could have been out there for the last 3 minutes, but my ankle was really swollen. Like,
Or in your case, your neck was still looking to
Yeah,
the
my
right and the
neck,
game was
like-
on the left.
you know, I'm telling y'all, Max Prep, 2007, Red Illini. Look it up.
And they're gonna see your picture, or what are they
They're
gonna
gonna
see?
see our record with our stats and stuff.
But they're
What are
not
they
gonna see
for
anything about you.
You
I got
squirting water in people's
What?
mouth, being like, "Good job, guys." Here,
Nah,
take
no
some
Oh, that would
water."
make him the water
I was-
boy.
Yeah, that's
I was
it.
the big dog. I was the big dog.
So that's what they would see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Catching touchdown. I got my DVD.
Pull
I'll bring
up.
it here.
I don't want your DVD. Pull
Well, it's
it
a
up.
DVD.
Yeah, it's a
We don't even have
DVD.
DVD
I know,
players
it's a long
anymore.
time
So why do
ago.
you still hold
Mr.
on
Turner,
to that?
Mr. Turner can put it inside the computer though.
Yeah, but if nobody has DVD
He can
players,
convert
why are
it.
you
He
saving
can
it?
convert it for me though.
But why haven't you done it? Because it's probably not anything with you on it.
Oh, trust me, it is. Busting Phillips at Gately, giving Carver
Oh,
a goose egg
my
60-0,
Here we go.
beat Brooks 14-32, beat Michelle Clark in the city playoff on CSN at Rockney 20-0. Look it up. I'm telling you, look it up. That was me out there.
And all with a broke neck.
Well, yeah, like it wasn't broke. It was just real strained.
You slept on it wrong. Yeah, that's all it is.
Now we did lose to Simeon in the city playoffs, and we lost to Nazareth Academy in the state. We did, but we had a great season.
Okay, so how long ago did you graduate from high school?
Right.
2008.
So 2008, we're now in 2024, and that's the only thing you holding on to?
I mean, we
This
talking about
all is a
sport.
part of men's health.
I'm saying
You've got to release that to talk about other things that have
talking
happened in
about
your
my
life.
neck. We talking about my neck and why I didn't, come out the season. Why I didn't want to, be on the sideline.
That's probably why
Because
they
it was part of the. No, I ain't telling my coaches. I ain't telling nobody.
So let me ask this though, as we get ready to wrap this up though. But what should coaches say then, instead of saying, "Are you good to go out there?" What should you say to really push kids to kind of say, "No, I'm really hurt"? Because I think if they say I'm hurt, yeah, you feel like you're letting everybody down. But I think also your teammates are looking at you some kind of way too, right?
Yeah.
Like you gave up on them.
Yeah.
Even if you could be in serious pain, and I think it like that bleeds into teaching too. Like you mentioned earlier, like if you're sick, you feel like you're letting the building down. If something's wrong, you're like earlier the year when I missed 2 weeks, like I felt terrible, and it just
You should have.
I did.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But it's like you just
No, you
feel,
were sick, so we
you
get it.
just feel like you're letting everybody down, and I think that's the same mentality obviously as an athlete. You just feel like you're looking at your team out there trying their best, and then if they lose, you were just sitting down because you're
Well,
like
as Morris said, you felt like I could have did this, or what?
Yeah.
How could I have helped?
Yeah.
But I think as a coach, like you can only ask. Like,
I
you
think as a
have to
coach,
ask.
you should just be like, sit down.
I was gonna say you have because we've all been the athletes and we're not gonna
Well,
sit down or
none
whatever.
of
Just like
us.
in the NFL, they have now like independent people who will look for people to for concussions, and they'll pull you out because there's no way the players pulling themselves out or anyone on their team
Yeah, this
is
never
pulling
gonna
them out.
happen.
You just need the coach to be like, hey, I've seen you run. You obviously can't run we
You're
know
obviously
you can.
running the wrong way.
We love that you're tough, but right now you're not helping you or the team, so
Yeah.
you just need to sit down and then just rather than you can't leave it up to question for a kid hey, you gonna you just gotta be like, no, you're the coach, especially with younger high school level too, you just have to be that authority figure.
Because that's what should
Sorry.
have happened with Morris. Because if his neck was turned one way, that meant the helmet was turned an opposite way too. So if nothing else,
coach should be able to see.
The coach should have been like, "It looked like you need a V8."
Yeah.
And forget that we winning all these championships that you
Right.
talk about.
That you
The coach,
lost.
right? The coach should just pulled you out.
I said it was games, not championships.
Well, you just played in it. Who cares?
Anywho,
Right.
Yeah.
Lose it.
I wish we would have played against y'all.
Me
man.
too.
Man, no, you're a little older than me though.
Well,
Okay.
older, smarter,
Yeah.
taller.
But I mean, first of all, you couldn't have did that well with your neck looking one
I'm
way.
telling you, I did. I'm telling you.
I think you were looking at the wrong score.
But
The game-
also we had other good players too that played the game.
So you didn't carry the team by yourself.
No,
I
they
carried
played ahead of
I
him.
carried us through when it comes to scoring individual touchdowns. I had the most touchdowns scored.
Now that's on record. Now
It is
you're
on
saying
record.
this into a microphone.
Yes,
You
I
say-
am. I am.
And you telling us to go
young.
look up
Right.
crazypeople.com
Right.
sports or something?
Max
What'd you
Prep.
say? Look up.
We
Max
need
Prep.
the link. We need
Yeah. Link.
link
Max
in
Prep,
bio.
man. Max Prep. Red
Oh, Max
Illini.
Crazy Prep.
Yeah, you can look up Max Prep.
Or Morris
Mountain
Dreams
High School,
Prep.com.
2007. We ran a Illini Heartland. That was the toughest
Share
division.
school would be you.
Who?
I mean, it was a private school. I mean,
Look at
Loyola.
that.
We played Loyola, and they
I mean,
whooped our
Wow.
We probably would have beat y'all.
ASS.
We
But
would have beat y'all. We would have beat y'all.
I mean, I don't know. I feel pretty confident in our.
When we're a city school, we don't win, we fight.
Oh
Sure,
my
later.
God, that is not true. Scratch that from the record. That was back in his day in 2008.
I mean, when Stephon Diggs is my age, so we played against him when I was in high school,
Yeah.
and he was pretty good.
He locked up Stephon Diggs. What'd you do?
I did not. No, I'm not.
With
But
two
that is
broken
not
feet.
on record. I
Cher
did
had
not
two broken
play
feet and locked up Stephon Diggs.
or remotely lock up. Stephon
Told his
Diggs.
coach he was good to go.
Right, told his coach good
yeah,
to go,
that
and then
dude.
this happened.
Double spat.
Yeah, exactly.
What you do?
He already told us all this stuff.
played
Anyway,
golf.
More
thank you
touchdowns
guys
than
so
Tom
much for
Brady.
listening. This is Principal Anderson, along with these colleagues. I'll let them give some last words, and we're gonna sign off. So, Mr. Hennigan, last words.
Make sure
Sounds
you
so
go.
like biblical last words to the
The
Old
last
Testament. So not
words.
last words, maybe like last advice for men to get health, get
Yeah,
healthy.
you
or
got to get
something?
checked up. Get checked up. Don't be too proud. Go to the doctor. Don't be too proud with your mental health. Make sure like that's first and foremost, and just take care of yourself. Like we always tell our kids when they're doing any sort of exercise, you exercise and all that to work out your heart. Because if your heart stops, you stop. So just make sure you do things to stay healthy and take care of yourself.
Mr. Morris.
Yeah, health is wealth, man. Without your health, you can't do nothing. You can't, be who you are. Take it seriously. Treat it as a priority, and educate others.
Oh, and I'm gonna go with a rhyming one too. Your best ability is availability. So, as much
You're
as
like a
you think
poet.
you're helpful with your toughness, if you're not physically, mentally, and emotionally kept in track, how are you actually gonna be able to help anybody? So.
And with that, I cannot add. I mean, there's so many things I can add, but I cannot add anything. We're going to sign off. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll talk to you later.